Joining us now in the Element Well Studios in the Tupelo Furniture Market, Jim Johnson, the Sheriff of Lee County. Sheriff, thanks for coming on.
Good morning. Thank you very much. My pleasure.
I got the tour before we came on the air. I'm just blown away at how many vendors and exhibitors are here. This is a very large building, as you well know, and they've really turned out for this great event for a great cause.
It is, and they do this every year. It's amazing to the amount of people that go into putting this thing together, and then the amount of people that come and tour it. And, you know, we're just very blessed and thankful that we have this facility, and Mr. Cleveland working with them to allow this to happen.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I learned before we came on the program that the Sheriff's Department had a little hand in helping get this thing set up for the event this weekend.
Well, we do. You know, our Lee County Inmate State Work Program, our county and state inmate work program, does a lot of nonprofit that we're allowed to do, and it's state inmates that are housed there at our facility. And what we do for this particular event here is we help with the setup for about 3 days, and then we help with the takedown. So,
okay.
You know, it's free of charge. We don't charge anything for that service, but it also gives the opportunity for the inmates to give back to the community.
Yeah, sure. Is this something new, Sheriff, that you guys came up with? You've been doing this a while.
Well, I've been sheriff for 20 years, and as long as Celebration Village has been here, we've been doing it. So you could count back how many years that was.
So you're definitely playing your department a direct role in making this thing a reality.
I am, and, you know, it's good for the community.
Sure.
But my dad suffered cancer in 2006 and passed away in the hospice house. So it's a personal thing to me as well, you know, something that we can give back. It's always got a special place in my heart. But, you know, this is a community event. It's not just for myself, but it affects a lot of people. And it's a great cause, and anything that we can do to better our community, that's what we want to be a part of.
Well, the Northeast Mississippi, the Tupelo area, and the Appalachian area is really fortunate to have Sanctuary Hospice.
We are very, very fortunate. You know, I hear people all the time, and I know personally, as I said with my dad, you know, it did provide a service for him in the latter years and the final ending of his life, but it was more of a service to the family to take a burden off of them that they couldn't meet. And so, you know, we are very, very blessed. It sees a lot of people and meets a lot of needs.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, typically it's the most difficult time ever in a family, honestly, when you've got a loved one that is declining like that, and you know that the end is near. You need help. It's a tax on you mentally and physically.
You can't prepare for it.
No.
There's no way. And these people are so gracious and so kind, and the staff is just, they become family.
Yeah.
Even like I said, my dad passed away in 2006, and I'm still connected with them. They still call and check, and it's amazing to the job that they do.
Yeah, it really is, and it takes a special person to do that kind of work.
It's a calling.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I had a similar experience, my father as well, in 1998. And I don't know what we'd have done without the hospice care, honestly. It was a godsend. And like I said, the folks are so dedicated to what they do and so empathetic and understanding of what the family and the loved ones are going through. And they sort of share that experience with you. And it eases the burden, but more importantly, it is a physical and a mental tax during that period.
It very much is. And, you know, the fact that you just realize that you're not going through this alone and that there's someone there with you that kind of understands and has been through this portion of life and can help you prepare for it. You know, the Lord just puts these people in your path.
No doubt about it. So tell us what's going on at the Lee County Sheriff's Department.
Well, we stay busy. We don't have to advertise for business. We have a lot going on, but, you know, we're very blessed with the community that we have. As you see with this event here, this is just the kind of people that I get to serve and protect, and I'm very honored and blessed to be able to do that.
Yeah. What about your staff, your deputies and so forth? How are you looking there?
We're looking well. We were very blessed this year with our Board of Supervisors. They supported our budget that we asked. You know, I told them whenever we were talking to them throughout the year prior to the budget passing that, you know, money talks, and that's what it's about right now is the salaries and trying to get the deputy salaries to a competitive amount that we could, you know, not compete with someone else, but at least offer the same thing as someone else. And then, you know, when an officer gets out of college or gets out of the academy and they decide to go, you know, money is exactly what they're looking for, but they may settle for a job because of the money, but it's not exactly what they want. They may work for a police department and wanted to work for a sheriff's office. So Ours is now competitive. We took a 100-mile radius, and, we're right up there with all of them. So we're very blessed with that. At full staff.
It seems like, of course, all employers seem to be looking for employees, but law enforcement in particular has really struggled with that. And I think a lot of that's just attributed to what you say, Sheriff, that it's a function of salary and compensation.
It is. And then, the attack on law enforcement in that profession, nationwide. I used to worry about every day getting up and coming to work, and you'd think about, this may be my last day, but you could live with that. This may be the day that somebody takes
signed up for that.
You signed up for it. You volunteered for it. But now you kind of get up and go to work. You think, if I do everything right by the book, I'm still going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And that's tough. That's a tough sell. But, I still believe that there's more right than wrong in the world. No doubt about it. And we just have to keep our faith.
Yeah. Is this something you and the team and the deputies, do you guys talk about this and try to work with each other on just working through this issue? Because my experience, and I think most of the public's experience that's always impressed me, is that those in law enforcement, they're so stoical, they're so unemotional when they're doing their job and they're public facing, but they're still human beings and they have real feelings inside. I mean, there's just the way God made us.
That's right.
But they're able to kind of shield that as part of their duty, as part of their job. But you got to have some way to vent it, right? You need an outlet to kind of manage it.
You do, and one thing that we try to create, and I learned this from my dad with the telephone company. I remember the telephone company was so family-oriented.
Yeah.
I mean, they did picnics, they did bingo, they did fish fries and all.
Sure.
And we kind of brought that over into the sheriff's department, that we, when we interview someone, we want them to bring their family and their kids, because when they go home at night and they talk about this call or this particular person they worked with, the wife or the husband can understand, well, hey, I know those people.
Yeah.
And then you also, we have a chaplain on duty that helps with the spiritual needs, that is very involved and, very helpful when it comes to that. And, in law enforcement, I'm sure it's a lot like the military. I never served in the military, but you're taught and you're trained that you're the answer to everything.
Yeah.
And so you don't realize, if you're not careful, that sometimes you are a problem that needs an answer.
Sure.
And so we try to always mentally prepare people that, you're not invincible. Talk to each other, come to us and talk about it. And we have several outlets. Exercise is a big thing. We have an annual PT test. I still go and run with the academy. And, so physical fitness and spirituality, you have to involve all of it.
Yeah.
Or, like you said, you're human. We put our pants on just like everybody else does.
Absolutely. What about the relationship with the Board of Supervisors? You guys work pretty good together, collaboratively?
We
talked about approving your budget.
Hey, that was a big thing. And, with being an elected official, the board, the financial end of it is kind of what they do. They kind of write you a check in October and say, okay, you got 12 months. We're not giving you no more. You better make it. And so, but as far as a working relationship, not with the Board of Supervisors, with the police department, there's a lot of sheriff's offices and police chiefs that don't get along. And ours, we're very blessed. We do. And the working relationship throughout our city and county, I think, is something that's something that people can look at and say, hey, that's the way we need to do it.
Absolutely. What about the legislature, a session coming up as it does every year in January? Anything in particular you'd like to see them focus on from a law enforcement perspective you feel like you need?
Well, what we ask, and we have a good working relationship even with our senators and representatives here. I was on the phone with one just prior to here trying to get some inmates moved and all, and the only thing that we look for, and representing the entire Sheriff's Association and through our two conferences and all, is, whenever you're making the law, converse with your law enforcement people that's going to have to enforce that thing.
Sure.
And don't forget about the victim.
Yeah.
Whenever you're decriminalizing something or criminalizing it, make sure it's the whole purpose of that is the right thing to do. If you're not careful, I told someone before, my first 10 or 15 years in office, we were going down and trying to get laws passed to make it safer and everything else. But it seems like in the last 4 or 5 years, we've tried to keep laws from getting passed.
Yeah.
Because the laws that were getting passed, we felt like were, either decriminalizing something or helping the criminal more than it was the victim.
Yeah.
And of course, like I said, we're the ones that got to enforce this thing.
Gosh, it seems like we victimize the victims and demonize the victims, I should say, and we've decriminalized crime.
That's
There's an
right.
effort in this country, and it's kind of scary, but we can't let that happen.
That's right.
It's the number one primary goal of government, responsibility of government, is keep us safe.
That's right.
That's what we need you guys to do. We appreciate your service. We appreciate you coming on, and certainly for helping these folks here at Celebration Village. I think it's going to be a big weekend raising money for Sanctuary Hospice. Thanks for coming on, Sheriff.
Well, thank
Appreciate
you for the awareness, and we wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy Thanksgiving.
it. And to stay safe.
Stay safe.
Yes, sir. Jim Johnson, the Sheriff of Lee County, has been our guest here in the Element Wealth